Okay, so we have understood the general representation for multi-degree of freedom system. Then we understood the semi-definite, positive definite, and negative definite matrices. And at the last, we have seen the details of stiffness matrix. Now we'll see the details understanding of the mass matrix. So the mass matrix is represented by M, and we have inertia influence coefficients are elements of mass matrix. And how do we represent it in index form is Fi is equal to Mij Xi double dot. Sorry, here it should be double dot. That is the acceleration of that uh, degree of freedom, where Fi is the impulse applied at point I. Mij, which is the mass matrix elements, the terminology will be it's the magnitude of impulse that needs to be applied at node I to cause a unit velocity. So this is not the expression, this is the velocity, because we are defining it using the impulse, not the force. So F is the impulse, not the force. So that is the to cause a unit velocity at node J, keeping all the other velocities at all the other nodes is equal to 0. So the first property of mass matrix will be it's a positive definite. So we have understood what's the meaning of positive definite. So xi is the vector, xi transpose m into xi is equal to the velocity transpose m into velocity, which is always positive, because and it will why we have already shown earlier, and how this is the kinetic energy, and we always know that kinetic energy is always positive. How? Because this is v square, somehow it is v square into mass. So mass v square is mv square, half into mv square. So this is twice of the kinetic energy. Then the second point is it is a symmetric matrix. So assume mass matrix is not symmetric. So we are going to prove it why it is symmetric. So let's assume by negation. So we are assuming it's not symmetric. So since any square matrix can be expressed as sum of symmetric and anti-symmetric matrix, anti-symmetric is Q-symmetric matrix. So let's say M mass matrix is half of mass plus M transpose plus half of M minus M transpose. So M plus M transpose is symmetric matrix. MS symmetric is equal to M plus M transpose. M minus M transpose is anti-symmetric. MA, which is M minus M transpose. And now we know that the kinetic energy is MA is equal to VT into MAV, which is anti-symmetric matrix. We are checking the kinetic energy coming from the anti-symmetric mass matrix. So anti-symmetric mass matrix is going to get such distribution, and the the energy V transpose into M into V will be somewhat some energy, and that is the same energy which is going to get subtracted, because V transpose into M transpose V will be the same kinetic energy. So the anti-symmetric mass matrix does not contribute to kinetic energy, and therefore the mass matrix must be symmetric matrix MS. Then we come to the eigenvalues. So eigenvalue of symmetric matrix are real. If it is single, then it is a real. Then let's assume eigenvalue of symmetric matrix are complex numbers. So eigenvectors will be V and V transpose, because the complex numbers are always having conjugates. So V conjugate, and eigenvalues will be lambda and lambda conjugate. So AV will be equal to lambda V, and AV transpose will be equal to lambda transpose V transpose. So doing some operations, V conjugate transpose into A into V is equal to this value, and we are doing the opposite also using the other properties where we have substituted AV as some value, and using this property also, A transpose into B is B transpose dot A. So we have come to a conclusion that lambda is equal to lambda transpose using these two equations. So the LHS are equal, so the RHS must be equal. That's why lambda and lambda transpose are equal. That means when a complex number is having equal values, that means that, and one is the conjugate of other, that means that the real parts are equal and the imaginary parts are equal. For the imaginary parts to be equal, one will have a positive imaginary part, other will have a negative imaginary part. So if those are going to be equal, positive number, negative number can be only equal if they are 0. That means the imaginary part is 0. Therefore, the lambda is always a real number, not a complex number. Now let's look at next property, that is the eigenvalue of a symmetric matrix are orthogonal. So again, we'll use the properties of matrices. A transpose into AB is equal to B transpose into A if A is symmetric matrix. So we are proving the things one by one. First, we have proven that it is a symmetric matrix. Then we proved that the symmetric matrix eigenvalues are real. Then we are using that eigenvalues to show that the eigenvalues are orthogonal. So we are doing some matrix manipulations, and at the end we have come to a conclusion that A transpose into AB is equal to B transpose into A of A, where A is the symmetric matrix. So now we'll take the case that let X and Y be eigenvectors of matrix A, and corresponding eigenvalues will be lambda and u. So there are two different eigenvectors, and correspondingly we'll have two different eigenvalues for the same matrix A. So lambda into X dot Y is this value, which is mu dot xy. This is only coming because lambda and mu are two eigenvalues. So this means that lambda and mu, we have done the series of changes and we have got this conclusion. Now if I take it to the same side, lambda minus mu is equal to into X dot Y 0. We know that they are orthogonal, and we also know that if there are two different eigenvectors, so we are just proving that they are orthogonal. So we know that there are two different eigenvectors, hence their eigenvalues are going to be different. So we cannot say lambda and mu are same. So lambda minus mu cannot be 0. That means that X dot Y must be 0. When X dot Y is 0, that means that X and Y are orthogonal. That is X dot Y is equal to XY cos theta. Cos theta must be 0. Cos theta is 0 means theta is 90 degree. Theta is 90 degree means the X and Y, which are two vectors, are orthogonal to each other. So we have also proved that the X and Y are orthogonal. That's all. In the next video, we'll start with eigenvalue problem. And we are left with the damping matrix, but we'll look at the damping matrix at a later stage because they are generally non-symmetric, and that's why they are harder to simplify and get the solution. So till now, in the next few videos, we'll look at non-damping matrix or systems which are free of damping. Okay, we'll stop. Thank you.